Hello everyone, welcome to class this evening. Thank you for joining me, whether you're joining me now or now as in another time. I guess either way it's now. Let's go ahead and start our practice in a nice comfortable seat. So whatever that means for you, just dive right into your practice. We're going to start with a chant today, and we'll use this chant as a way to take us more deeply into our personal practice tonight. Paramhansa Yogananda said that chanting on the spiritual path was half the battle. Half the battle on our path. If we could do any one thing that would accomplish 50% of our spiritual progress in this life, it is chanting. And that is a tremendous gift to us. Chanting is prayer set to a melody. And so there's a repetition of these words over and over. And the repetition is most importantly for us to refine our own sense of devotion. So as you hear these words and perhaps choose to chant along with me, keep refining the loving quality in your voice and in your heart as you chant. We're going to start with Door of My Heart. moments together in the silence of our own practice. Try to keep the body completely relaxed. Inner gaze centered at the point between the two eyebrows. And in this way, leaving the eyes closed, let's take a double inhalation and tense the whole body. So it's a low to medium to high tension. Double inhale to pull the breath in, squeeze, and then double exhale to release from the heart. Again. Squeeze, 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 muscles of the face. Every last group of muscles, banish tiredness, lethargy. Let it go. Again, rousing the energy in the body. And release. I could use one more. Let's join in. Double inhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze right until the muscles vibrate. Leave nothing on the table in your practice. We're aiming for full transformation and then release. Good. And gently shift awareness back to the spiritual eye, whole body relaxed. Feel this wonderful sense of invigorating energy entering into your body, prana. Let's take a few yogic breaths, eyes still remaining closed. Follow the verbal cues. Inhaling, reach the arms out to the furthest circumference of the body. Reach all the way out and then up above the head, filling belly, ribs, and chest with a full, dynamic, diaphragmatic breath. And then exhale, let the hands bathe the body. Palms facing down. Just let them come right through the front side of the body. When you feel the next inhale, push the belly out to draw the breath down into the bottom of the lungs. Keep filling breath, opening ribs, expanding chest until arms are all the way overhead. And then the exhale takes hands bathing down the body. When the eyes are closed and you're breathing in this way, inhaling to expand the arms nice and wide, feel that you're moving through a medium of water. Every movement is very intentional, yet relaxed, energized. And then let's take the palms together. So just trying to stir some energy in the body here. Keep rubbing the palms so you feel some heat. Leave the eyes closed. Nothing interesting going on the screen right now. I'm rubbing my hands just like you. Good. And then go ahead and rub the wrist and the arm, right up into the arm and the shoulder, and then do the underside. Make sure you get in the wrist especially here. And so much of our physical practice depends on strength of this part of the body. Good, and then rub palms together again. Just until you get the heat going and you feel a sense of vitality, and then rub the other arm. Make sure you get the wrists. Go all the way up to the shoulder. And you're feeling all the wonderful cells answering the call to the awakening of your practice. This time, inhale, free the arms down first, and then reach all the way up and around, tracing the circumference, and see if you can notice a difference. Palms facing down. Feel that wonderful vitality. Prana as vibration. Good, very gentle. Dropping hands down. Let's take one more circle here. And the point of these practices, if your constitution tends towards sleepy, we're waking you up. If it tends towards nervous or anxious, we're calming the static around our body and in our mind. Just take a moment here, inner gaze at the spiritual eye. Gently looking upward, palms are facing up on the lap. Relax the whole body. Release the mental grip on the muscles. Then gently, you can open the eyes and we'll come right into our practice. So we're going to start in standing. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming on that little opening journey with me. It's very important to take the time to adjust our inner posture so that these outer postures become beneficial. Remembering that the point of this practice is to shift our consciousness, that is to raise our energy up the spine. So let's just take a few moments here to join hands in front of the body. Gentle bend of the knees, double inhale to tense the arms and open them away from each other. Double exhale to let go. Again. So actively pulling right until the muscles vibrate and then gentle release and feeling. Let's get a little more dramatic. Last one. Good. Rest hands down by the sides. First posture, Tadasana. Rock onto the ball of your foot. Your heel stays light. Whole body is relaxed. Your upward right in the spine, crown of the head lifted. This is our standing posture. Inner gaze is centered at the spiritual eye. Keep onto the ball of the foot. The affirmation, I stand ready to obey thy least command. Obedience to the wisdom and the guidance of the higher self is perhaps one of the most important aspects of our practice. Being willing to listen to your own inner authority, your intuition, and inner guidance. So when we say, I stand ready to obey thy least command, we are affirming. Let's do it together. I stand ready to obey thy least command. Very gentle bending of the knees. We're going to inhale, drop the hands down, and then reach up and around. Big exhalation. Go ahead and fold forward and release the low back and the bottom of the spine until you come into a full forward fold. Knees stay bent for this early aspect of our practice. Inhale, you can press off of your thighs to come into active phase. And then exhaling to release especially the head and the neck and all the breath out. Take a few rounds like this, oscillating between lifting halfway and then exhaling, taking deeper bend in the knees and laying the torso onto the lap. Inhale takes you rising. Exhale, you bend the knees and slide down into our forward folds. See if you can get a little spinal articulation here. So the inhale, the back is firm. The exhale, knees are bending and spine becomes fluid. Do one more round. Try pinching shoulders behind the body on lift. And exhale to release. Bend the knees as much as you need to stay in the forward fold. The affirmation, nothing on earth can hold me. Nothing on earth can hold me. You might take a little massage of your head here. You can stretch the muscles of the face by squishing the nose and eyes close together, wrinkling forehead. How about opening mouth nice and wide? We're going to inhale this time, rolling up. Just use the support of your arms if you need it, especially if your back is sensitive. Slowly rolling, 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 rolling until shoulders slide down the back body. Turn the palms out. Let's inhale and lift the arms as we come into the fullness of our standing pose. Hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer pose in the heart. Take a moment here just to look to the spiritual eye. Nothing on earth can hold me. Remember, there's activity in the spine. Even as we rest in between postures, you're lifting through the solar plexus, and you let that energy expand through your heart and further refine to the throat and spiritual eye. Good. Nothing on earth can hold me. Okay, when you're ready, you can slowly open eyes. We're going to take a step up to the front of our mat, both feet aligned here. Wow, there's a blaze of light on the screen right now. I'm sure you guys figured that out before me, but we're going to take a step back here and then maybe even 2 steps. I hope you all can still see me. And we'll take our front knee bending deeply here. Warrior 2 position. We'll inhale and sweep the arms up the body, and then exhale and reach the palms out nice and wide. And in this version, flip your palms up to the sky. How's that for incoming energy? I'm blown away by the image on the screen right now. It won't last, so enjoy it while it's there. The affirmation, I joyfully manifest the power of God. I joyfully manifest the power of God. When you're ready to, you can gently drop the arms down on exhalation. We're going to take a step or 2 or 3 until you come back to the front of your mat. Take a moment here to close the eyes, and we'll take just a breath or 2 at the spiritual eye. I joyfully manifest the power of God. I joyfully manifest the power of God. Good, eyes opening. Let's do the other side. So this time stepping left foot back. You can try 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3. Front knee is bent enough that you're over the ankle. We're going to take our hands down low and inhale and draw them up the body. I want you to imagine like they are magnets, and you are magnetically gathering and drawing your energy and your attention, and then distribute that out from the heart. Palms face up in this version. Push down through the feet to rise here and feel the wonderful support of grace in your body and your mind. I joyfully manifest the power of God. I joyfully manifest the power of God. The very consciousness that's flowing into your body and animating you is of divine origin. And we are joyfully manifesting that power into this beautiful creation. When you're ready to lower the arms, set them down. Take a step, maybe 2, maybe 3, until you're back at the front of your mat. Go ahead and lift the heart, crown of the head up towards the sky. Inner gaze at the spiritual eye. I joyfully manifest the power of God. Relax the entire body in between the posture. I joyfully manifest the power of God. And eyes slowly opening again. And we're going to come to the front of the mat for Ganapati Asana, or some people know it as Warrior 3. And just take a step back with your right foot enough that it's a balance point. And we're going to bend our front knee here and start to center the weight over your left leg. I find it easiest to take hands into the heart and to Anjali Mudra, and then when you're ready, on inhalation you take your leap of faith onto your left leg and you start to lean closer towards the ground. Nice and strong in your right leg, as though you're standing on the wall behind you. The affirmation, I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. Some of us like to take our hands and release them palm side up by the hips. And stand strong in this position here. Let there be some stimulation on the left leg as you breathe. Your belly is strong, your low spine is supportive. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. And then very gently releasing. By using these affirmations or changing the inner narrative, take a moment just to rest in a neutral position. Instead of, I can't wait to get out of this pose, or I'm not strong enough to do this pose, or repeating, I sail through skies of inner freedom. Look to the spiritual eye for a few moments here. Slowing down. Let's gently open the eyes and come to the other side. So this time left foot is just stepping back enough. Oh, there we go. Now I can see you guys again. So take a little bit of a bend into this front knee. And it just gives you enough that you can come on the tips of the toes of the back foot. Hands can be into the heart. And when you're ready, you take the inhale and take flight and reach the heart closer towards the earth as you lift the back foot, like you're standing on the wall behind you. Go ahead and squeeze this leg enough that there's activity, there's blood flow and life in it, and then relax amidst all that effort. Good, using the belly muscles, the low spine to keep you steady in the pose. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. Keep breathing into the pose. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. When you're ready to release, do so calmly on inhalation, coming out of the position. And as you come back to neutral, nice and smooth, exhale to release. Let the palms come down and shift weight right under the ball of the foot. Inner gaze to the forehead. Point between the two eyebrows. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. Stay present. Every moment of your practice, saturated with the vital energy of your presence and alert attention. Relax every muscle in the body in between the postures. You can gently open the eyes when you feel called to. We're going to come into pyramids pose. So you take a step back, some of us maybe 2 steps, but not quite much further than that. And you keep the feet rather close together, sort of almost like you're walking on a thin board. Front leg is straight here. There's 2 phases of this position. As you start to lean in, feel free to bridge off of your thigh. Keep your spine nice and long. If you notice, my back is not rounded like this in the pose, but it's long, meaning the heart stays open. Now some of us will stay here, and this is most comfortable just to stay for a few breaths. At some point, start to release the head and the neck down. Keep the eyes open for balance if it challenges you, and then you can slide the hands down towards the ground. So as you slide closer to the ground, hips go backwards. And of course, this is awakening the backside of our knee and our thigh. Some of us like to keep hands in prayer in the heart center as we release down. And then at some point come into the active phase, so you can press off of your thigh. You inhale and lift out of the pose halfway, and then exhale, take a deeper dive this time. Some of us may have hands resting on the hips.
Just make sure you release the head and your neck. Hips are sliding backwards. Good. In the affirmation, I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. This is the feeling when your life is flowing dynamically. You feel energized and inspired. Everything seems to be going your way. We may have experienced this for a moment, an hour, a day, or weeks, wherever your experience. Let's slowly start to rise out of the position so you can take hands onto the thigh and slowly, I like to bend the front knee and press my way up. Nice long spine. And there's no better place to be than Muktasana after this pose. Arms up into the sky. This is freedom pose. The affirmation, I am free. I am free. Feel that wonderful sense of vitality rising in the spine. If you catch yourself looking at the ground, lift your gaze a bit higher up towards at least the point where the ceiling and the wall meet. And then hands can come down into prayer, and we take a deep breath and step forwards. And then exhale like you're setting down deep tap roots into the earth. Release hands. Take a moment here, just you and your awareness. Feel the body recharging, recalibrating. And most important, the awareness beginning to expand beyond the cramped quarters of this little body. Expand beyond. Good. We're going to open the eyes and stay with that expansive quality. We're coming to other side for pyramids pose. So either one step, maybe two. And then start by straightening this front leg. If you're very flexible, careful not to drop the knee way back. Just enough to engage the muscle we straighten. And then you can start to lean forwards. So use the hands at first if you need to. Others of us are working on abdominal strength, and we use hands in the heart, squeezing into hips and belly to keep you solid. Start reaching through the crown of the head like a little kid. We're tugging on the tips of your ears, pulling you forwards. Can you smile and invite them lovingly into your practice rather than scoffing at your serious desire to be perfect in the pose? And then at some point we release head and neck down towards the earth. Restorative or resting aspect of the pose. So breathing deeply here, the affirmation, I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. And then inhale, you can start to lift up as you're ready, walking just halfway. And then release the hips. Further back, excuse me, I need some water. Oh, hang in there, you guys. You're doing all the work. Although if you're in the flow of divine grace, you're not doing any work. You're just enjoying this wonderful flow and opening of body and mind. When you are ready to release out of the pose, start to press off of the thigh, engaging a bend in the front knee and walking yourself safely back out of the pose. Take your step, or we'll go right into Muktasana. Arms up into the sky. And a back bend here, pose to counter pose. Your spine is being coaxed or invited to open. The affirmation, I am free, I am free. Stay steady and focused in every position we're feeling and sensing and noticing its impact on our consciousness. And then you take a step on inhalation when you're ready. Arms come down and we step back up to the front of the mat. Close the eyes. Weight is on the ball of the feet, of each foot. And like someone was plucking a little hair from the very center of the crown of your head. It was just that moment the hair was about to leave your head and you're lifting up. Breathing calm, steady breath. All right, my friends, last of our standing positions here. We're going to take a step back with our right foot. Try one step. If you can do two, great. If you can do three, awesome. Some of us do four, and that's great as well. We're going to come into a side angle pose. So slide into the version that's available for you. Knee stays right over the ankle. Make sure you can see your first two toes. It's a good indication that you're in the right place. Your front arm comes right down onto the thigh. And try taking a mudra or hand position. Thumb and index finger can be interesting. Thumb and middle finger if you're practicing patience. And opposite arm reaches up into the sky. This is the gentle version of the pose, and we breathe. For those of us looking for a little more, drop the hips, settle in, and palm facing down, reach up over the head to create one beautiful angle along the side of your body. Now, sometimes we have a tendency to cheat a little bit in this pose, and what that means is that you're really heavy in the front arm. And start to back off of the front arm. Use the legs to support you, and more importantly, the spine. So ideally in this pose, you don't need any help from the bottom arm, but that's something that we can work up to. Start to engage the legs and the spine rather than hanging on parts of the body. Make sure you can still smile. The practice is a joyful practice. That's what we're all returning to. The affirmation, I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Say it as you remain even beyond your mental threshold. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. To come out of the pose, you could press off of your thigh if need be, hand coming to the heart. We're going to turn onto the long side of our mat, so toes are facing the direction of our gaze. Lift the energy or your attention. They're one and the same, right to the spiritual eye, and relax. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. It's amazing how even after a full day of experiences that some would otherwise be exhausted at the end of the day, in a moment you can awaken back into energy throughout the body. We're going to turn to the other side. So you'll be facing away from me, that's fine. Start with your front foot, which was your front foot, and just turn it a little back and then pivot on the heel so that you're over facing the back of your mat. When you arrive there and you feel comfortable, make sure you can still see those first two toes. Drop the forearm under the thigh, opposite arm up into the sky. You may have to make a little adjustment here or there. And try to stay light on the bottom arm. Top arm is right above its shoulder. Some of us face palm down and we reach overhead. This is more challenging, but it will really start to awaken some powerful energy in the spine. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Sometimes I say these affirmations and I'm like, oh, I am? And I get excited. Yes, I'm a fountain of boundless energy and power. Thank God I don't have to be exhausted anymore. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Keep breathing. Careful not to lay into that bottom arm too heavy. It's tempting. It's easier. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. See if you can stay another 2 or 3 breaths. I know it's demanding on the body. Keep affirming. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. You ready to rise out? Rise in the way that's comfortable for you. Turn the toes to face the same direction off to the side of the mat. You can heel toe back up to neutral now. And feel free to face the front of your mat. Let's just take a few moments to rest in standing Tadasana. Lift the chest, relax the shoulders. Just think long in your spine. Breathe that wonderful vitality. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power right to the spiritual eye. You can open your eyes when you feel ready. Feel free to stay for several breaths. We're going to start to make our way down. So you can go ahead and just fold the body forwards. This might be a nice place to transition. Maybe you inhale and lift halfway. Just try to stay any habits of your practice of just sort of locking into a preset way that you know how to do, and then slowly start to step your way back until you're in a downward facing dog. In this position, you're looking to the lap, your hips are high up towards the sky, and your arms are active, especially if you're flexible. Careful not to hang in your joints. If you want to know if you are, try bending your elbow slightly and pushing off top side of your palm, and you'll feel the muscles start to engage. The affirmation, calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Let's lower down onto the knees, gentle. If it's uncomfortable for you to sit in Vajrasana, which is sitting back over the ankles, come into child's pose. Arms extended, forehead relaxed. If you can come into Vajrasana though, this is a wonderful posture to bring into your practice. Palms face up right at the top of the thighs where they meet the torso. Toes are untucked, and your chest, it might feel at first like it's bulging out, and that's a good indication that you're starting to open the chest a little more. Just look to the spiritual eye. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Say it with zeal, with enthusiasm, and most importantly, with deep conviction. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. When you're ready to release out of the position,
We're going to walk our hands behind. So if you're in child's pose, come right up into your seat. We're going to walk our hands behind the body and lift your hips as much as the body will allow. Some of us, it's just a little bit, like a little hair off of the ankles. If you can activate your thighs and really push from the glutes, you can find quite a bit of lift in this pose. So find what you're ready to find and breathe nice and steady. And I know there's a wonderful affirmation for this pose that I do not know. If you know it, say it. Enjoy it. Just keep the heart lifted. And then slowly lowering down when you're ready. So we're going to walk our hands up and around and slide off of our ankles so they're out in front of the body. Our feet are extended out nice and long. Hey. And we're in staff pose. So hands are right by the hips and we're standing tall in our spine. Keep the chest lifted here. Close the eyes for a moment. This is a wonderful pose that's so often skipped. Look to the spiritual eye. A little pressure in the hands keeps the spine long. Good. And then when you're ready, you can relax. So we're going to come into Paschimottanasana, which is forward folding pose. And there's a couple ways that you can get into the pose. If you're very new, I suggest putting hands behind your hips and just leaning your heart forward. I'll show you from the side. And just lean your heart forwards. This tends to be a challenging pose for some body types. And if it is for you, no problem. Just breathe as you are here. If you can go a little further, walk hands in front of the hips. And you keep folding your torso right onto your lap. So if you look at my spine, there's no rounding that's happening just yet. So some of us might only go an inch or two, and that's fine. This is the active phase of the pose. Just steady breathing here. The affirmation, I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. What a beautiful consciousness to be in. When you arrive at that point where you're ready to round the back and just drop the head and the neck and relax, feel free to do so. And by the way, anyone that can get to their big toes, try wrapping your first two fingers around the big toe. Not to the point where you're barely hanging on for dear life to stay in the pose, but only if it's comfortable. This posture stimulates and awakens the root chakra, so the first energy center in the spine that deals with our feelings of security and safety in this world, our ability to trust that we are held and taken care of. So let's repeat together, I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. A little bit quieter, I am safe, I am sound. All good things come to me. This time silently, internally, look to the spiritual eye. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. Now I understand this is not everyone's favorite pose. I could probably fall asleep in this pose. We're going to slowly inhale and start to rise out of the position. Fingertips pointed towards the heels. And we're going to come right up in, pointing the toes, lifting, front stretching pose. Lift, lift, lift the hips. The affirmation with a burst of energy. I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Hang in there. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Try smiling right when it gets serious or hard. And then very gently you can lower the hips down. Good. We're going to stay in this position and turn our Let's start with our right hand. We'll turn it behind. And then we're going to turn the whole body and roll up onto our side and then slide your bottom knee. So it's right knee and right hand are on the bottom, opposite arm to the sky. This is your side plank position. Now some of us feel confident that we can take that bottom leg out of the way and feel free. The affirmation, the calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distraction. One more time, the calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distraction. When you're ready to come down, especially if bottom leg has been extended, slide the knee back, and then you just bow the hips and set the hands under the ground. We're going to roll over right onto the other side. So I'm just going to switch around here to show you. This time right leg is extended, left knee is under the body, left hand on the ground. You can curl toes underneath on the bottom foot if need be. Good. Reach the top arm to the sky. If you're going on the journey of releasing bottom foot, just slide it out of the way, behind. The affirmation, the calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distraction. We all know that feeling when you sort of feel spacey, like you're barely connected to the ground. Affirm with me, the calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distraction. Stay another breath or two if you desire to do so. For those of us lowering, just come out of the pose gracefully, shifting hips back. Good. We're going to slide the feet off out of the way, sitting onto our glutes here, holding onto the backs of the thighs, sit nice and tall on the spine. We're just going to stay here, not coming into boat pose, but just holding here nice and steady. It's one of my favorite neutral positions to feel and to encourage greater awakening in the spine. Close the eyes if you can and look to the spiritual eye. Look up. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all desire. Ooh, that's pretty good. All desire, all distraction as well. All right, my friends, let's slowly just round the back and take your time coming down onto your back. We're going to come into an inversion. So a gentle way to do this is just to set your fists under your hips and send your feet up to the sky. So you might need to tuck them underneath a little bit just to give you enough lift. If you'd like to come further, watch me first because you'll have to turn your head, and once you're in the pose, I do not advise that. Hands or elbows into the ground, sweep the feet over your face, lift your hips by pushing down on the elbows, and then catch your hips into your hands, and you're in a supportive shoulder stand. Just close the eyes and breathe. If there's any contraindications such as pressure building in the face without relief, uncomfortable sensation in arms, shoulders, or neck, just slowly bend the knees and release out of the pose. But otherwise, stay here and breathe with me. You'd be surprised how quickly the sensations evaporate when you give them total acceptance, calm acceptance. When you're ready to come down out of the pose, you can bend the knees towards the chest and slowly lower down. please feel free to stay for a while. Some of us like plow pose, and we send the feet over the head. I'll show you guys here if you'd like to see. Just reach the feet behind, and you can hold onto your hips. And others of us set feet onto the ground, knees bent. I'm going to walk you through verbally the last of our postures. Each foot is on the ground, knees are bent. Stay with me here. You're going to inhale and lift your hips off the ground and pick them up and set them over to the right. And then you're going to let your knees fall over to the left. This should create a nice twist in the body. As the knees go to the left, let both arms go over to the left. So roll right onto your side. And then you might experiment with taking the top arm and opening up and twisting in the pose. But gather the arms on one side first. This ensures that your knees are resting on the ground. And just take a few moments here to rest in the pose. The affirmation, I open to the flow of God's life within me. God is grace. God is unconditional love. I open to the flow of God's life within me. I open to the flow of God's life within me. And recalling your breath into your field of awareness. When you're ready, slowly invite that breath back to your attention, and then we'll prepare to exit the pose. So if you're twisted, roll the arms back to the same side. Then, using the earth if you need to, you can inhale and roll your way back onto the mat. Back is flat on the mat, knees are bent. Now we're going to do the same thing. Inhale, lift the hips. This time, way, really exaggerate all the way over to the left side and place the hips down. And then you can let the knees fall over to the right. Let the arms follow, arms gathered over to one side. Then you might begin to take the top arm and you just slide it maybe to the heart, to the shoulder, until you're in this beautiful posture of your own, and then close the eyes. I open to the flow of God's life within me. I open to the flow of God's life within me. Unlimited power, wisdom, deep calm and peace, all qualities of the divine. This is what you're opening up to. I open to the flow of God's life within me. Try looking to the spiritual eye for our final moments in the pose. And just feeling that your awareness is free to fill the room and even beyond, expanding in every direction.
open to the flow of God's life within me. Let the breath come back to your awareness. Taking a deep conscious inhalation, let's take our top arm, in this case it's our left arm, all the way back over to the right side. And then any way that you need to, you're rolling back onto the mat so that your spine is aligned. And then take a deep breath and lift your hips. Once your feet are firm, lift your hips and just put them back in the center. And then you can hug your knees in towards your chest and take a little rocking from side to side. And when you feel prepared to do so, one leg at a time extends all the way out nice and long. Palms will face up for our final resting position of Shavasana. Just take a moment here in the stillness of our practice to feel our sense of self that exists beyond just the physical body, beyond the personality, as a calm, expansive, abiding presence, our blissful nature. And let even the conscious breath begin to return back into your expression as you inhale, breathing into the muscles and the bones. Recharge with prana, with energy, joy. Let that transform into awakening of fingers and toes and squirming in the body until the arms reach up overhead. Knees can come in towards the chest and we'll roll off to our right side. Take a few breaths here, supportive breath. And then gently, when you feel called to in your practice, you inhale and press the earth away as you rise back into your comfortable seat. Joining me, spine is upright, this magical moment of your practice. When we lie down, the energy naturally goes back down to the base of the spine, but it's only in the upright position of sitting or standing that we can feel this wonderful current of aliveness, of energy. So look to the spiritual eye and just sit here and enjoy that with palms facing upward, whole body relaxed. This is a great time to pause. If this is a recording for you, pause. If it's live for you, you might even opt to just mute your computer and stay in this beautiful space. For those of us ready to conclude our practice, let's join the hands together in prayer. And in a moment of reverence, respect, humility, we bow to the divine nature within ourselves. We bow to the divine nature within all beings. And let's actually send those beings some love and light. Let's rub the palms together. Extend the palms out nice and wide. Feel that your body is a channel, and let grace flow through you to bless this world. We'll Om 3 times together to conclude our practice. Deep breath in through the nose. Blessings to all of our soul brothers and sisters. Hands back together in prayer. We bow to that divine nature in all beings by saying Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Again, now is a great time to just sit and absorb the benefits of your practice until it naturally transitions to something else. So have a beautiful evening. Take this energy with you, this calmness, into your sleep, and let it revitalize you for your day to come. Namaste, everyone.